G'day and welcome to the Making It With Myles podcast, where we talk about all things related to building and construction, and as well as that, the real estate industry through the lens of a building inspector. That format is called The Shed. As well as that, we also have The Journey. The Journey is where we talk about a bit of personal development, getting better, being better, doing good things. On this episode of the Making It With Myles podcast, we're going to be talking about the impacts of environmental factors on your home. Now, what do these technical words mean? Pretty much how the things around your house is going to impact it and cause it issues over a long period of time. The environmental issues, rain, fucking trees, soil conditions, all those types of things do play a massive part and can severely impact your home, cause major defects, cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. I see it all the time. You wouldn't bloody believe it, but people are unaware of it and they need to understand the impact it's going to be. So, first things first. The environmental impacts I'm going to be discussing is weather, soil, trees, airflow, and our old mate termites. Weather conditions, rain. The home's enclosure is critical and it needs to be maintained. Now, what I mean by the home's enclosure is everything, all the external elements, the roof, the external cladding, and then underneath the home itself, the subfloor system, the guttering, the drainage, all right? Now, the reason being why this is so important is because not maintaining your roof enclosure, for example, is going to lead to water leaks getting into the house itself, which can lead to mold and health conditions. Not maintaining your guttering is going to block the drains, which can lead to, again, water leaks within inside the home envelope, or it can also flow outside and actually lead to footing issues around the home. Drainage is another massive one. Damaged in-ground drainage is what can lead to movement within the home. Again, conducive conditions for termites underneath the property if there's excessive moisture built up, rising damp issues, health concerns with regards to mold growth. Drainage is a monster, one that needs to be understood and taken care of. That involves a drainage plumber who comes out and actually inspects the drains to make sure it's all good and hunky-dory. Inspecting the external elements of the home can be just done visually. As a normal human being with common sense, you can walk around the outside of the house, you can hit it with a hose and see if water's going to get in or not. That's pretty much it, all right? There's going to be gaps around things, gaps around windows, cracked brickwork, open control joints in brickwork, gaps next to windows. All these things is where water can get in, sit in cavities, and then result in these issues impacting your home itself. Surface water runoff is another important one as well. So when you've got on a hill, for example, or you could be on a flat area, but you've just got some soil around your house that falls back in, or it could be a path or a concrete area that somebody's done a shit job and it falls back towards the house. Again, these are environmental impacts. The rain's going to hit it. It's going to run towards the house. It can either sit against the house, which leads to movement, or it can run underneath the property, which can lead to mold growth, all these types of things, which is no bueno whatsoever. Okay, very important you understand it and understand the impact that can occur through those sort of specific scenarios, okay? In those situations, again, get advice from people that understand what's going on. Drainage plumbers, they do it every single day. They understand the impact. They understand how it works. They understand how to rectify it. So if you do believe you have some of these issues, simply go engage a drainage plumber to come out, assess the house, and provide feedback in regards to what they can do to help you with your problem. If it's external cracks, painter. You just paint and seal the cracks. Roof tiles are damaged. Get a roof tile to rectify it. Gutters are full of shit. Clean them out yourself or pay someone to do it themselves. Keeping on top of this home maintenance is a critical part to help mitigate those environmental impacts on the home itself. The other one as well we're going to talk about is soil. So soil conditions does make a big impact on the home, okay? And what that can do, it can be seasonal. So you might be living on a property that was built on reactive soil, okay? What that means, it might be full of clay. There's a drought, your house has been built during the drought. 10 years later, there's a dumping of water and you've got floods. What that's going to do, it's going to expand the soil in the ground, which then can lead to movement in the property. So ideally, what you do in these situations is you want to mitigate the amount of moisture or water that sits against the home or around the footings to mitigate that sort of movement occurring. That's going to involve, you wouldn't bloody believe it, drainage again, all right? All comes back to getting that moisture away from the home because those soil conditions are super reactive and it's going to create those problems within the home itself. So the environment, and you can't control those things in some situations because you can't change the soil around the house. You just built it in this spot and you just got to mitigate it moving forward. When you do new home construction, and even just older builds, not a lot of the time people would do drainage around the house like Aggie drains to help with that surface water runoff. If you're on a slope or something like that, most of the time people would do that because a lot of water will come down the hill. You want to capture that water, discharge it around the house. So the house, you're mitigating as much moisture impact on that soil as practicable. You're not going to mitigate it all, but you can do as best as you can, and it's going to help reduce those problems you can get within the home. Another good one is trees. Trees are an arsehole. Trees can get stuck into your drainage system and your stormwater system, go through all your old school earthenware. Again, that's going to lead to drainage issues and moisture and all those types of things. As well as that, you can also, when you have trees big enough and close enough to the home, they can also impact the footings just by the tree roots themselves. You can add root barriers, which is simply you dig a massive trench next to the home or around the tree itself. You can cut all the tree roots that are potentially going to impact the home itself, pour a monster footing, it's just a bit of concrete, and then they just can't penetrate it moving forward, right? So it protects the home from the impact of the tree itself, or just remove the tree. Depends what you want to do. Trees are a big one. Airflow is another environmental impact that needs to be understood because ventilation within the home is critical. You need to have the airflow running underneath the home, cross-flow ventilation, which we've discussed numerous times, as well as that, the weep holes around the house. So ensuring that you're not blocking the airflow around the house is another environmental impact that you need to understand needs to occur. The air around us goes underneath, dries out the space, dries out the area to ensure that you're not getting mold buildup, you're not getting moisture buildup. Okay, that's why it's so important. Okay, and it's going to lead on to the next one, which is termites, because again, all the other things we've spoken about with regards to drainage and ventilation comes back to moisture. Moisture is, again, a conducive conditions for termites, and you need to mitigate that as best as practical, all right? So termites is another environmental impact that can really affect the home to a significant level. Termites can simply come in, they can eat a little bit of skirting board, they can eat one window and then leave. And then sometimes they can come in, leave the skirting board, leave the window, and completely destroy the structural walls behind the plasterboard. And you'll never see it. The pricks are an arsehole, all right? Ensuring that you have a termite management plan put in place for your property is very, very, very critical, especially where you live. If you're up far north Queensland, the risk is much higher. Up there, they even do things like change the building construction type, where it's not, a timber structure. It might be a steel frame on a slab, might be on steel stilts. Due to the heat, there's more risk of termites being up there in those specific areas, okay? But there are a couple of maps online. You can actually see where the termite areas are. North is more so. Central Victoria is actually a bit of an arsehole as well. But be mindful of that. Either way, you just want to mitigate that risk because the way in which termites operate, they, from my experience, you can be in suburban areas. Summer comes around and you'll see these little pricks, these bugs just flying through the air. Okay, what that is the termites, some have wings and they just get picked up in the breeze, in the heat, and they fly around and they land. And then one can become the queen and they can start destroying your home from there. So it's not as though they just dig and they go from house to house and they sort of move. They don't just move underground. They actually spread through the sky, land. That's when they can start causing issues, all right? So you just want to mitigate those risks and put a termite management plan put in place. What that could look like is a termite barrier around your house. It might be a chemical treatment underneath the property itself where they treat the soil so the pricks can't get in and travel through, kills them in the spot. And then ongoing inspections moving forward to ensure that this environmental impact of these bastards is mitigated and it's not going to cause impact on the home because it can lead to tens of thousands of dollars. It can lead to structural defect. It's an issue that people don't spend enough time mitigating, and they're always on the back foot. The issues occur, and then that's when their termite treatment gets done. That's when the rectification occurs. For me personally, when I'm inspecting homes that are pre-existing and just being sold to the public, the homes that usually have a termite treatment put in place, there's two things. One, they're brand new homes and it's required by law. Or two, they've had termite damage before and they've had to get a treatment done and they've had to rectify things. It's very rare that there's people that actually just maintain and mitigate these risks. You need to look after your homes. We're spending $1.8 billion now on a 3-bedroom house. You might as well put some effort in, and it's going to cost money, but that's the whole point of it, to maintain and mitigate these issues. It's like maintaining your car, servicing your car. You've got to do the same thing for your property. You can't just let things go and hope for the best, because if you get put into a situation where you are going to cop these termites, you're going to cop big trees going through your side of your property, you're going to cop drainage issues, you're going to cop weather conditions just hammering your house and allowing water leaks, it's going to really dramatically impact that home, and it's just going to destroy it quicker. Okay, so the results of all these poor conditions and how they impact the home is significant. All right, be aware of it, understand it, go back through this, make sure you maintain your house, look after it, because it's the biggest investment you're going to have in your life, and it's worth just doing the right thing. We hope you enjoyed that episode of the Making It With Myles podcast. Please give us a share. Please give us a review. Do whatever you bloody want. I don't really mind. Throw some questions in there as well. We're happy to get to them and action them accordingly. And we will see you on the next one. Hooroo.